Hey guys, my name is John Singleton. I am head coach of the program. We are here in Barcelona at Studio CrossFit, and in this video we are going to be looking at people who lose their posture in the front squat and what we can do to help correct it. Luckily I'm joined by Mire, who's going to be helping us demonstrate today. If you enjoyed the video, please click that subscribe button, hit the like button, and we will keep bringing you more content. Okay, so why are we doing this video? It's extremely common fault that we see in Olympic lifting when people are standing up from the clean, and this is mainly referring to CrossFitters, and we also therefore see it in the front squat. Now, a lot of people attribute this to weakness, whereas a lot of times it's not actually the case, or the weakness is not in the specific area where they perceive it to be. So we're just going to demonstrate what tends to happen. So first of all, Mire is going to do 3 normal front squats. So as you can see, it's going to go down nicely, the torso is going to stay vertical. And this is what we want to see in a front squat. That in essence, the torso doesn't change position. And now she's going to do 3 of the reps that we are referring to in this video, where she goes down relatively normally, but when she comes up, she loses the bar and therefore starts to lose her posture. And what you can see happening here is that the bar starts to shift forward, the weight starts to shift forward, and it becomes harder and harder to maintain the load. So it's actually very rare that it is the case of these thoracic erectors, the location where the back is rounding, that they are weak. Actually, one of the biggest factors in this happening, both in the clean and the front squat, is that the person doesn't have sufficient mobility. So what we will see is that as soon as that bar starts to move forward, the athlete has to struggle to hold it. And therefore, the one thing that causes the torso to move forward is lack of mobility in the ankles. So we're just going to do a quick test. Now, I'm pretty sure that Mire can pass this test, but we call it the foot together squat. So Mire's going to put her foot together and she's going to squat down. And she's just going to hold that position. So this is a great test for ankle mobility for the squat. Just try this at home the next time. Try and put your feet together, knees together, and squat down. If you're not able to do this, it's a sign that you don't have sufficient ankle mobility. And stand up. The reason being, just to open the legs a little more, is that what we want is that our knee can move forward without our heel having to come up, and at the same time our hip can go down. So just do the squat for me. So you can see that Mire's knees have moved quite far forward. That is because of the ankle mobility, and that gives her the space in order to keep her torso upright. If she stands up, and you're going to, as soon as you touch your knee, you're going to try and keep squatting down. So if Mire squats down now, and back, she has to use her hips more and more. And in order to use her hips more and more, she has to lose the position of the torso in order to do that. And stand back up. So for athletes who really struggle with the ankle mobility, one, working on your ankle mobility is obviously the thing that you have to do. However, weightlifting shoes or elevating the heel slightly may actually really help with this position. So if you find that you're constantly losing your low back, putting on weightlifting heels may actually be the solution, because you can hold a better posture. The bar's not going to move forward, and therefore you don't have to fight in this position. Okay, so mobility may be the biggest issue. If you can't do the feet together squat, check it out, and your ankles are where you'll need to work. However, say you can get through the foot together squat, but the problem is still occurring. It may not necessarily be an issue with mobility. And therefore, where we need to start looking is actually at the glutes, hamstrings, and in essence, everything that starts to hold our body in a good position. So in order for if Mire just comes round, faces this way, so she's just going to do a good morning for me. So she goes down, does a good morning, and comes back up. And you're just going to do 5 reps. Okay, and relax. So the main muscle groups that are creating this extension are the glutes, the hamstrings, the posterior chain, as we term it. And so the big thing is, if you're going down and down and you can't hold the position, it may well be that you don't have enough strength in that posterior chain to hold the torso upright, especially under load. And you'll see that a lot. Often with the back squat, we don't get the same collapsing because we have our neck, our shoulders blocking the bar. But you'll still see some people lean forward, and that is all in order to get engagement of this posterior chain. So if the posterior chain is not strong enough to handle the load, we may start to see some collapsing. So what we actually need to do in this instance is start to strengthen that area. We're not going to go into many exercises, but there's like a classic exercise that's been done for years, which is called the Nordic hamstring curl. And we could just demonstrate it here. We don't need any extra equipment. We do need someone's help. So Milli's just going to go onto her knees, like so. I'm going to support the ankles, like fix the ankles in. So Miri's going to drop forward, come into a push-up position, and then come back up. However, the less she uses her arms to push back up, the more she has to use her hamstrings and her glutes in order to do the movement and get that stimulus. So if you put just come onto your toes a little. Okay, and then go down. And back up. And you can see at the end of range how we start to get that engagement in the posterior chain. And she comes back again and does the same thing. And gets that engagement. And we're just going to do 5 reps here. Okay, perfect. So that's a Nordic hamstring curl, and it's a great exercise for developing the posterior chain. So if you're finding that you've got sufficient ankle mobility to hit the correct position, but you're just not strong enough through here to maintain an upright torso, and you'll also see that transfer into your back squat, developing the posterior chain through exercises like Nordic hamstring curl, glute ham raises, back extensions, anything that hits that area is going to be crucial for you. The final thing we're actually going to do is look at for that small majority where it may actually be the mid-back that is causing this rounding and this weakness. So we're going to grab a band. Sorry, in fact, before we grab the band, let's just have a look at once more at what we're looking at, because this will give you a lot better idea of the exercise. So Miri's going to take on the bar, and she's going to do three bad reps, so to speak. And if you just come around the side so we can see. So just do 1 rep. And I just want you to focus on to here and then come up in that. Yeah, exactly. And you can see that what's happening is this mid-thoracic region is starting to flex. She goes again. And back up. Starts to round and goes back up. So, let's say this keeps happening to Miri. She has great mobility in order to achieve the right positions. She's receiving the bar in the correct position so it's not going forward. And she also has sufficient posterior chain strength in order to maintain the torso upright. Then it may be the case that we need to do specific work in that area. So we're actually going to use a band to give us some resistance. And for this particular exercise, we're actually going to go into very high reps. For the posterior chain work or for the Nordic hamstring curls, things like that, we may use a rep scheme of, say, 8 to 12 reps. Whereas here, we're going to go into, say, 50 or 100 reps in order to get that stimulus. So Maria's actually going to come down into the good morning. She can hold on to the band. And then this part of the area, so in essence, our thoracic spine starting just roughly between, we then move into our lumbar and our cervical. But here now, what she's going to do is try and flex this area, and the other way, and then extend. Good. And now she's trying to be very specific as we go through. We're fighting for that extension. And let's just do 20 reps. So we've got 2, 3, 4, but even slow and controlled. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, still keep getting that flex, there you go. 10 and 20, okay? So in that rep scheme, we're kind of half of where we want to be. We can take the band away. Did you feel it a lot back there? So you really start to feel, it's a surprisingly simple drill, but you really feel the activation of those extensors around the thoracic spine. So what you can then do, you're going to hit, say, 50 reps, 50 to 100 reps. You can do quite high volume in terms of rep scheme on this exercise. You would then go back to the barbell and actually try out the front squat. So Maria's just going to go back to the bar. And now after that exercise, she'll probably be very aware of this area. She's then going to go down and do what we call the good rep. She's going to squat down and then back up. Squat down and back up and relax. So as well as strengthening the area of the thoracic spine, it actually develops awareness as well, so the athlete can really feel how they hold back. So this collapsing that we get in the chest thoracic spine during cleans and front squats, it can often be attributed to mobility, to a lack of strength in the posterior chain, and sometimes to a lack of strength, therefore awareness in the thoracic extensors. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.